I wouldn't say that we're in a capitalist society anymore. But it's kind of hard to define that. I remember I was reading something from Milton Friedman back in the 80s. I think it was actually on one of his old video shows, and he kind of defined whether or not we are in a capitalist society by the percentage of like social welfare programs that are a part of like our federal budget. And I think that's kind of a good way to look at it. And we're, we have more social welfare programs that exist in history. Why is our wealth inequality so bad if we're helping people more than we ever have? And that's a big question that nobody ever asks. But back to your point, how would I define capitalism? I would say that capitalism is in a society where we have protected an individual's right to their property to the highest degree that we can, at least in proportion to the majority of the goods and services that they have that are private. So if, let's say, we all live in a society and we have common resources that we interact with, and we pay governments to use those common resources. Some may be appropriate, some may not be, but some are definitely appropriate. And some percentage of your wealth is given to pay for those resources every year through some form of tax. And I would say that you can still live in a capitalist society and have those things as long as an individual has a right to their private property that isn't at least infringing upon the majority of their property. I guess maybe that's a good way to define it. Perhaps not a majority. I don't know. It'd be hard to say. It's hard to say what the actual line is between when you cross out of capitalism. But what was important for our capitalist society was that the US protected property rights better than any other country in the world. And that's what ultimately attracts the smartest people to a place. So having strong protection of property rights is probably the most important thing. And that requires a legal system to be able to do that effectively.